Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video of Charles Patriarca Bowling. So we have a different type of video for you guys. We have all of our 6 balls here. So this is our 6-ball arsenal. So what we're gonna do is throw each ball so that I show you guys the difference of each one. So we have the purple hammer here. I'll put the specs here. We have the purple hammer. For our urethane option, we have the Storm Locket for our strong asymmetric solid. We have our Phase 2 for our strong symmetric solid. Then we have the Gem Pearl for our strong asymmetric pearl. We have the Road, the Storm the Road for our symmetric hybrid option. And of course, this is our spare ball. This is the Motive Arctic Sniper, which is kind of unique because it has a urethane cover. All right, so let's hit the lanes, and it's gonna be a little bit different. I'll have 2 cameras for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy this video. All right, there's background music, guys, so baka cut out ko yung mga voice parts, but we will start out with our purple hammer. All right, then let's move on to Storm Locket. All right, next we're moving to the Road, guys. My favorite ball right now, guys. All right, there you go, guys. We have our 6 ball arsenal, as you guys saw, go down the lane. All right, guys. So this is Charles again from the future. While making the video, I had some comments on the last video about explaining what are the purpose of some of the balls that we have, the arsenal, right? So the video that I shot, it was more of just really showing the motion in some of the specs, but I might as well give some explanation to why I use a specific ball for a specific time on the lane, right? So first is what are the very first balls that I get out of the bag? The very first bowling balls that I look at on the fresh, meaning freshly oiled your lane, like maybe your game one or even your shadow bowling, the very first balls that I get would be first is the Storm Locket and the Phase 2. So yun yung dalawang yun. Why? They're my benchmark balls. And they have the strongest cover. So I asked Google, what are the bowling balls that you should use for fresh oil conditions? So let's read what Google says. For fresh oil conditions in bowling, you typically want a ball with strong back end reaction and good length, allowing for a smooth transition from the oily part of the lane to the dry back end. With balls with early roll and high flare potential are generally preferred. So yeah, so that's what we need. We need balls that roll early and with high flare potential. So how would you know if they roll early or they have higher flare potential? That's where RG and diff comes in. Those are the specs that you see on the ball. You have RG and then you have differential, diba? So and they even have some examples here. So you have the Storm Ion Max for Storm. For Motive, it's the Crimson Jackal. And then, here's our Phase 2. So, yeah. So, RG stands for Radius of Gyration and Diff is Differential. So, let's go with the balls that we have, guys. So, we have the Storm Locket, which has the Rad X core and has a solid cover. And then the Phase 2 has the TX16 cover and then the Velocity core. Now the difference between the two is Locket is asymmetric and then Phase 2 is symmetric. Yan. So yung difference sila. So with the specs, the Locket comes with a 2.52 RG, and then the Phase 2 comes with a 2.53 RG, meaning si Locket would hook earlier than Phase 2. So mas early but very minimal because they're really close. The difference would be the diff. The Lockets in Diffney Locket is 0.054 and the diff of Phase 2 is 0.050, which means yes, they would hook on the same spot, but their motion going down, going to the back end, meaning going to the pins, is different. Locket would have a more aggressive back end reaction, and Phase 2 will have aggressive pa rin, but it'll be a lot smoother compared to the Locket. Now, they also say that the urethanes are a good option for fresh oil condition because one, they give you length and also very smooth yung back end. So with mine, so this is the purple urethane pearl. Has a LED core and of course has a urethane pearl cover. The RG is 2.68 and then the diff is 0.013. Now I wouldn't look at the RG here because for me it rolls really early, and then also I would look at the diff. So the diff is 0.013, which means it has a very smooth motion. It won't look so wild where if it hooks on the spot it'll end up on 7. No, it has a really smooth motion. So yun differences of the strong symmetric, strong asymmetric, and also the urethanes that I use for fresh oil conditions. So those are the three bowling balls I typically look at now. I used to only have one, diba, before, but now my options for fresh are these. Now, I look at these generally when it has a really long oil pattern too, like a 44 or 45. Anything lower than 42, I look at a different sequence for the bowling balls. So there you go, guys. Those are the three bowling balls we look at for fresh oil conditions. Now, let's move to the transition. So what is the transition? The transition for me is when the lane condition is changing from fresh to dry. So that's where, there's in between fresh and dry conditions, or even dry conditions na rin, diba? So this is where the next two balls that I have in the bag are my options. So first is the Gem Pearl. The Gem Pearl has the Defiant LRG core. It's the same core used in the Gem, the Exotic Gem, the Purple Gem, the Magic Gem. The cores are the same. The differences are the covers. So for my bowling ball, it has the Hyper Response Pearl cover. The RG is 2.50, and then the diff is 0.052. So the diff is somewhat weaker compared to the Locket, but the RG is lower. So theoretically, it should be earlier. However, because it's a pearl, you'll see that when it went down the lane, it went longer. So if we look at the length of the lane, diba? So from the foul line until the headpin, that's 60 feet. Assuming with RG numbers, my solids phase 2 and Locket, and then the urethanes would hook somewhere around 40 to 45 feet. And then the Gem Pearl would hook somewhere around 45 to 50 feet, meaning that's where it starts to hook, or the break point. Now, the other option I have, which is where I move into after the Gem Pearl, is the Road. The Road comes with the inverted FE squared AI core. So this has the amplified inertia technology of Storm, which I think is really awesome. It has the REX hybrid, which is a combination of the R2S and NEX cover. And then the RG is 2.55, and the diff is 0.045. So what this tells me, based on all the stats, is this is the longest out of all of the 5 bowling balls we have for first balls. And has the lowest, one of the lowest diffs compared to the others. So, but because it's a hybrid, you'll see that it goes long and it's also angular. So I use this really during transitions and the burn, and it helps me play on the outside part of the lane, even if the lanes are already burnt up. The last ball that we have is, of course, our spare ball, which is the Arctic Sniper. Has the hollow point core, has the DMX urethane cover. The RG is 2.69, and then the diff is 0.014. So this is the longest out of all of the bowling balls we have in terms of length before it starts to hook. If it actually hooks, you'll see that it's hooked somewhere around 55 feet, and then because it's only has a diff of 0.014, hooks really little lang. But expect when you play on really dry conditions, like on a 38 pattern or 38 feet pattern, or really dry, it really starts hook, but it goes really long. So there you go, guys. That's how I look at my bowling balls, how I progress. For me, the numbers I really look at are the RGs, and because the diff naman, it varies how you throw it. Sorry, I have the window open. The diff varies how you throw it, because if you add more revs, if you're two-hander, your diff, how the ball starts to hook and when it hooks would really differ, right? But for me, the RGs are important for me to know or identify when the break point will happen or where the break point is based on our RG numbers. So there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this segment of us explaining the bowling balls. So let's cut back to me ending the video. Back to the future. Oh no, let's back to the past. Go back to the past. Started out with the purple hammer for our urethane option, the storm locket for our solid asymmetric option. We went with the phase 2 next. This is our symmetric solid. And then the gem pearl for our asymmetric pearl. And then my favorite ball right now. I like the shape that it gives me. This is the Storm the Road. And of course, our trusty spare ball. There you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video of us going through our 6-ball arsenal. And I hope this is something that you guys also like to see. And it helps you guys think about the balls that you're going to be getting. All right. Please, if you reach this stage, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the lanes. God bless.